YouTube, Mark here with a review of a Steam independent developed game, Frequent Flyer. Now this is a overhead shoot 'em up style game, which I would kind of describe like a mashup between the old school Capcom game 1942 and Geometry Wars. Essentially that's kind of like how it is. It uses World War II based fighting aircraft, various airplanes such as like a Japanese Zero, German Messerschmitt, and I do believe a Corsair, but I could be wrong based on the overhead view. There are other planes as well, however I only unlocked about half of them. Each plane has their own handling style, speed, how quick they turn, various things like that. Weaponry is all the same. You gain various upgrades based on pick-em-ups that you find. The enemies range from really easy to takes quite a while. Now there are no boss battles. Basically you're essentially passing levels by achievements. So you'll have a goal, and if you reach that goal, the level stops. You move on to the next one, and as you go along, you are able to earn stars that you can then use to purchase the upgraded or new aircrafts. Based on I've played for about 2 or 3 hours. I like this game quite a bit. Now I must say that it is a beta currently, and the final version is slated to release January 20th. So based on the build that I'm currently playing, I haven't had any problems. There's no crashing or anything like that. However, the controls are a little bit on the loose side. I'm using the Xbox One controller, which works on both Mac or PC, believe it or not. And the game itself, Steam is kind of weird. It claims that it runs on Mac, however, it really doesn't. You have to have another PC running Windows, and then it can stream it from that machine. And I've tried both. Streaming it works actually pretty decent, being on the same network, and actually the machines are practically right next to each other. So that, on a sense, does work. However, the footage you're watching is from the Windows boot up on my Mac Pro. Speaking of which, the game doesn't really require much hardware. I'm running a Mac Pro from 2009. Granted, I do have a Radeon R9 290X in the machine and 32 gigs of RAM, but I've also used it on an older PC that only has 9 gigs of RAM and a Core i7-930 and a GeForce GTX 285. So I haven't had any issues running the game. Runs really smooth. I'd say at least 60 frames a second, although I don't really know. I don't have any way of showing it up. The downsides to the game for me really are how loose the controls are, and it takes a little while to get used to it, when you're using the controller. I've also tried using keyboard, and that honestly is worse. Definitely use controller for this. It's just, yeah, you'll see if you play the, well, I'm hopefully they'll fix it before the release, but controlling wise definitely needs to be tighter. So on a side note, I did reach out to the developer, and they are the ones that provided me with 2 Steam keys, one for me and one for Greg. Greg's reviewing it in text-based, or for the website, and I'm doing it here on the YouTube channel. Otherwise, we're not being paid or anything like that, other than getting the game for free. But the developer Coldwild Games I think they know what they're doing, definitely, but, and I haven't asked them yet, I'm hoping that it's going to be released on other platforms. And, fingers crossed for me, is that they'll have it available on the PS Vita, whether it's digital or hard copy, although I would prefer hard copy, but Limited Run Games could pick this up, and I think it would be a good one. It's really actually, it's fun. I mean, when I was recording, I played for, like 2 hours straight, and I was like, oh crap, where'd the time go? So I'll give the link to their store page. It does show on here that all the information you're going to need. They have some videos and screenshots, and for the most part, what you're seeing there is exactly what I've played. But let's go over some of the features. You got 10 different unlockable planes, each with its own distinct features. Now, by features, what I was saying is they got various speeds. Like one of the first planes you can fly appears to be like a Cessna. I'm not 100% sure if that's actually accurate due to all the other planes being practically World War II based, but they are different in speeds. And they say that they have 10 enemies, each with their own movement and shooting pattern, and that is definitely true. As I progressed into the harder levels, you'll see in the videos, there are some harder, actually a lot harder enemies. Whereas some, you could shoot them within like 1 or 2 bullets, they're dead. Some of these are taking a lot. They're saying that you can have more than 10 bonus weapons, or 10 weapon bonuses, unlockable as you progress further, which those would be like rockets and bombs and such. There's 4 different game modes, which I actually haven't tried out the various modes. I just went ahead and started playing the missions. Time attack sounds fun. They have infinite, which would just keep going until you die probably, and organized. I'm not really sure what organized would be. Complete more than 20 short missions. That's what I've been working on, actually. Each with increasing difficulty. There is a night level. It is hard as shit. Really is. Leaderboards and achievements. I've earned a lot of achievements, actually. And full controller support. Now, they do need to fix some of their controller support. They have no way of editing the button layout or how the sticks work or anything like that. In fact, you only use one stick. You can use either one you want, but they're both going to control the same way. So if they had set it up in such a way like Geometry Wars, where you use one stick to shoot and the other one to move around, I really think it would actually be better. However, the way the airplanes turn, I'm not 100% sure that would work. Maybe if it was like a B-17 bomber that had guns all around the aircraft. Let's see. Here's their system requirements, which, believe it or not, they actually do say that there's Mac support on here, and there's also SteamOS and Linux support. I have not been able to get it to actually run natively on my Mac yet. Now, I will say this. If they were to add multiplayer to this game for dogfighting, that could be awesome, especially if you had 40 people on at once, all flying around in the screen and shooting at each other. That could be pretty cool. You do get, depends on the plane, but you get hearts for hits, or like a health bar, and most of them are 3 each. However, there was one of the planes that I earned that was 4. And usually one hit takes away a heart, so got that going. So all in all, I think this game actually is pretty good. I'm not going to give it, like a final rating since it is a beta. However, right now, as far as like a shmup is concerned, I'm thinking like a 7.5, maybe I'd say about a 7.5 out of 10. There are various things about it that I really like the pixel art. A lot of the animations, like the explosions, are really cool looking. I just think that the mushy controller, like the controls, are just kind of hold it back a little bit. And then, some of the soundtracks, which actually I didn't even really talk about that. They just kind of there's only a few of them, and they repeat and repeat and repeat. So I mean, granted it is beta, and they probably got some stuff they can add in. And of course, with games these days, they can always update. But definitely, if it were me, I'd say add to the music. That just it would. I think it would help a lot. And the difficulty levels I think are great. As you build up your arsenal of airplanes, it really adds to the difficulty level, and it shows because there's one plane I used that just was really fast, and that's extremely hard to fight with when all your enemies are kind of going a little slow. So it's almost like they get in your way, and if you hit them, it takes away one of your hearts, and eventually you're just going to explode. So but definitely check this game out when it comes out. I will have the link in the description box for sure. And if you haven't already, definitely subscribe and like and share, all that fun stuff. And check out the website. Greg, the lead writer, has some really good articles on there, and I know he has probably like 5 or 6 that are in the works, which should be releasing soon. You know what? Like always, happy gaming.